It's always a day when the hangover of the previous evening may interfere with the style of the running on the particular day. But it's a very relaxed occasion and everybody enters into the spirit of it. Eddie Spillane has them lined up for the first event on the programme, and that's the Sunday World 10K. Catherine Davis talks to some of the leading contenders.
Is it going to have a win today, is it?
We're going to try hard. I mean, one is guaranteed posterity if one wins this race. First race of the new millennium, so...
What do you think of conditions today?
Perfect.
No wind at all?
None at all. It's ideal.
Who do you think will be the main rivals?
I don't know who's here, really.
You haven't looked around?
You know.
It's too early in the morning to have a good look, is it?
It is indeed, yes.
Good luck. We'll see you again. How do you feel about today?
That'll be a tough race. Jerry Kiernan, I see, is here, and he's probably be the favourite. You know, he won the inter-county, so... You know, I'd like to go out and give him a good run for it, you know, so we'll get up there. It's a great day for running, so have a go.
Are you still in the States now, or are you?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Whereabouts are you now?
I'm in South Carolina. I'm actually coaching there, so...
You're coaching there, so you're just home for the holidays,
yeah,
is it?
Yeah, at home and, you know, trying to look at some young Irish lads.
So you're here on a canvassing mission as well as everything else?
Yeah.
So good luck, we'll see you later.
Thanks a million. Bye now.
Martin Flynn, brother of the better-known Ray Flynn, and they're away. 800 runners in this 10K, and towards the right, the tall figure of Jerry Shield, Fergal Mullen there towards the front, Jerry Kiernan going back a little in the main bunch, and they're off up the main road. Jerry Shield in the foreground of picture, and Johnny Bolger there towards the fore. It was a beautiful day for it, Catherine.
Oh, absolutely fantastic day. It's funny, there was no breeze earlier on, but as the runners started to come up the main road, the breeze seemed to rise. And we're looking now at Fergal Mullen. He's actually home from the States. He's at Brown University. And Johnny Bolger just there beside him. Johnny's also back from across the far side of the Atlantic, but he's telling me that he's heading off towards Moscow. He's going to work with Air Rianta, so he's not going to be around too long.
So they head up the main road of the park. They'll turn off on a circuit which brings them around by the S-Bends, the Magazine Fort, and back again onto the main road. Johnny Bolger there towards the front. Jerry Kiernan just behind him, and Fergal Mullen there up alongside Bolger towards the front. Pace relatively easy going up the main road.
I think early in the morning, 12 o'clock start, so everybody's kind of feeling their way. The first race of the year, may have been out a bit last night and maybe feeling it slightly. Just over a mile gone now, and it's Johnny Bolger forcing the pace, but it's interesting that Kiernan and Martin Flynn are not letting him get away at this stage.
John Fitzgerald there too, but Martin Flynn looking the more sprightly, in fact, there towards the left of picture. Martin back from the States, brother of Ray Flynn, who was internationally famous and who is now coming towards the end of his career, two of a large family from Longford, but still on the main road, coming up to the turnoff now, which will bring them down by the Ordnance Survey. Jerry Kiernan at the front alongside Johnny Bolger. Johnny, who spent some years in Canada, as Catherine was saying, but back here now and soon to be on the move again. So these forging towards the front.
Kiernan looks as if he's getting some of his form back. He went in a couple of marathons there the year before last and really suffered, and last year was a bad year for him, but he went out on a good year, a good note. He won the inter-counties there just before Christmas. We're back here with the women, and that's the first woman. That's Olive Bollard from Raheny. Olive specialises in the road. She's much better on the road. It's interesting that the girls are always surrounded by a few fellas. The shield them from the wind. Joe Cooper there in green shorts.
Yes, Olive, who ran in the Tullamore Harriers race early on, didn't get in the top three there, but going very well here now if she can hold that pace, and she's with the group that are helping to bring her along. It must be a comforting feeling to be surrounded like that, and none of them in direct opposition to you, Catherine.
Well, you'll always get one who decide, I have to get ahead of this girl. But a lot of them, they're great. They kind of encourage you, and if there's a wind, they'll shield you from the wind. And if you're going through a bad phase, they'll help you through.
In second and third place in the women's race at the moment, we have Ailish Smith and Deirdre Nagle. Ailish Smith, who represented us in the marathon in Seoul, finished in the marathon in Seoul. And Deirdre Nagle, who has a very distinguished career, cross-country, won the English cross-country championship in her time and has featured largely on the Irish athletic scene over the past decade.
Ailish, indeed, just getting back. It's her first race in Seoul. She's had a chest infection when she came back from Seoul. And Deirdre, she had intended going in the Dublin City Marathon, but unfortunately injury put paid to her chances. So this is their first race for some 3 months, both these girls.
So at halfway in the men's race in this 10K event, it's Jerry Kiernan who is pushing out the pace now ahead of Johnny Bolger, with Martin Flynn looking very comfortable in behind the two of them. Flynn running a very relaxed race, Catherine.
Absolutely, looks very well. The time there for the halfway stage was 14:21. I think Kieran is going to have to push it now because he doesn't want Flynn to run away from him.
Jerry very professionally using the bend there to look across and see who's chasing. But he knows the two big threats are right with him. Johnny Bolger behind him and Martin Flynn.
Coming onto the hilly part of the course now, Jerry's going to use his strength. The slight hills around the S-bends, and then when they start to head up the Khyber Pass, that's all hill. So Jerry was going to use every bit of strength and make sure that Martin Flynn won't be able to sprint away from him down the main road of the park.
That looks like John Fitzgerald chasing in 4th place, but it's Jerry who's pushing the pace now. He has to try and get ahead of the other two. Jerry, who had such disappointment in the Irish Marathon last year and just failed by 1 to make a spot for Seoul. And there now John Fitzgerald.
John Fitzgerald, the man from Clonmel, who was 7th in the Dublin City Marathon, the time of 2 hours 19, holding the distance between the leaders and himself very well. Fairly solid runner. Nothing absolutely spectacular, unlikely to win races, but he's a great man. He'll turn out for his county for cross country. He actually had a run in the inter-counties as well.
So Bolger is feeling the pace now. You can see the strain. Johnny being dropped.
Coming up the top of the Khyber Pass now, and as I was saying, that the hill would make the difference, and Johnny, he certainly was dropped on the hill up the Khyber Pass. It's just coming up the top of it.
And then there were two, a Kerry man and a Longford man. These two battling on their own now to the front, step for step. Jerry, of course, with a vast amount of experience behind him, more suited to the longer distance, the 26 miles plus. Flynn more at home over this shorter 10K.
I think Jerry Kiernan might be feeling the pace. I always feel that when an athlete veers in towards the footpath, that they're beginning to feel the pace. And Jerry Kiernan has this habit: when he gets very tired, he leans forward slightly. It's possibly a legacy from his marathon running days.
So back now on the main road. They're down the final stretch, and it's Flynn looking as if he's about to pull ahead now, looking the more relaxed of the two. 1 mile to go. Martin Flynn, brother of Ray, as I said earlier on, from Longford, went on scholarship following Ray to the United States and has been doing extremely well. Coaching now as well as running at his university in America and opening the gap all the time.
Yes, Martin with his 13:43 5,000 metre time the last 2 years, much faster than what Jerry Kiernan has run. I think Jerry's really feeling the pace. The arms are swinging around and he's certainly leaning forward. Martin looking very relaxed at this stage. Keeps concentration now all the way down to the finish. Once you come onto the main road, you don't realise how long it is. It seems very short distance when you drive it up fast in a car, but when you start to run it, my God, it can be long.
But Martin now running for the Tullamore Harriers Club, heading towards the finish. He's going to get under the 30 minutes for the 10K, getting a round of applause from the crowd gathered here on this New Year's Day at the finish on the main road of the Phoenix Park, and it's Martin Flynn who takes it. Jerry Kiernan is going to be second, and John Fitzgerald being beat out by Johnny Bolger for third spot.
Johnny Bolger certainly suffered in the last bit, and John Fitzgerald closed down the distance tremendously. Johnny Bolger coming to cross the line. And Clonmel's Fitzgerald taking 4th position.
So in the next spot we have Mullen of DCH, then Heffernan of Tipperary Town and McClelland of Donore, followed by Carney from Donore. There were the top ones, and Olive Bollard coming in to take the ladies' race. Olive struggling, but she's getting to the line first and is the winner of the women's 10K.
Fairly solid run from Olive. Wait and see who's second and third. The last time we met them was Ailish Smith, and it's still Ailish Smith, so Ailish Smith's coming in to take 2nd position. Should be satisfied with that. Good to get the first run over after injury and illness.
And Deirdre Nagle it is there picking up third. So Dublin City Harriers, the promoters of the event, take second and third in that event, with Raheny Shamrocks winning the women's race.
Well done, Martin. How did you find the race today?
It was a good, tough race. You know, anytime you race a fellow like Jerry Kiernan, you're not going to get anything easy. And I knew it would be just between 2 or 3 of us, and I knew it would probably be at the end, the last mile between me and him. And Jerry made a very, decisive break on that hill around 5 miles. And I knew if I didn't go with him then, if you let a fella like him away, you'll never catch him. So I went with him, and then I was very tired too, but I think on that last mile it was a nice flat running, and I had a little bit more spring just to pull away from him and just get that edge I needed to hold on for the finish. So it was a good, tough race, and I'm pleased with the result. Road races are still very deceiving, and times, I still think times don't mean anything much on the roads. Any time you race, you should just race to win, because every course is different anyway on the roads.
What about conditions today? Beforehand we were saying that it was very calm, but as you went
very
up the main road,
hit a nice cross breeze there after 1 mile once we went over on the other side, and I was a bit surprised at that, all right, because there wasn't enough of a bunch up there to block it. There's only a couple of us.
Was it cold when you were going around?
No, not really. It's been very nice now. I've been home for the last 2 weeks, and it's one of the best Christmases we've had in years weather-wise. You couldn't complain.
Well, all of you look as if you've been out for a hard run. Is there any truth in that?
Yes, I enjoyed it very well. It was a lovely day for a run.
Time 35:12.
Well, I was aiming for around 35, so I got 35:12. So it's very pleased.
Do you think the girls have a decided advantage in that?
They have a good advantage because we have the fellas and you're trying to catch them all the time, So
did the fellas protect you from the wind?
They did. Some of them did, so it was very handy.
What are the plans now for the rest of the season?
A few more road races and then the track season. I might do the national cross country. I'll wait and see.
Just have a gallop over the country.
Have a gallop over it and we'll see how it goes.
So Martin Flynn took the men's race in 29:43 from the Clonliffe Harriers, Jerry Kiernan 29:55, with John Bolger from Crusaders in 30 minutes 09.
And Olive Bollard was the women's winner from Raheny Shamrocks, 35:13. Then Ailish Smith, DCH, 36:29. And Deirdre Nagle, DCH, 36:42.
Yeah, and we'll be having more athletics coming up.